you, Kingston, on your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
We all play a role in keeping our community safe.
Every day, we move in and out of each other's busy lives.
It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life.
It's when something doesn't seem quite right
that it's time to pay attention.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
Hi, this is Jared Mans from the Spring Lake Fire Department, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
There's Rick Remsnyder here with Lawrence on the, what do we call that, the dashboard?
It's going to be hot later, sticky, wet day.
That's not going to stop me from golfing, though.
No, that's for sure. What? It's supposed to rain a little bit today, right?
Yeah, I tell you, I was coming home from, I was covering a meeting in the town of Shongum last night. I do some freelance writing, and it was pouring.
Yeah, it was. And then it stopped. It was supposed to rain yesterday, but I guess that was good for the Stallions game. I'm sure they got to play last night because it was their first game back.
You know,
so you must be excited about the Nets. That game you went to, they won by what, 30?
They pretty much won going away. Yeah. So I didn't stay up to watch it last night, but the Lakers defending champions got eliminated.
Good.
So
I'm tired of LeBron and his stupid speeches.
Yeah, did you see not last night, but the game before, with 5 minutes to go, LeBron went back to the locker room?
I think he's got a hurt ankle or something. They were really healthy in the beginning of the season, and then they just, I don't know, they just couldn't put it together. But I'm glad because it's time to get some new blood in there. You know what I mean? Now the Nets have a really good chance of winning, though. There's some really good teams left. What happened with that Portland and Denver Nuggets game? Who won that?
Nuggets ended up winning that. They had a late run. I did watch the end of that game, and
so they moved on, right?
Jokes it. He's their center's fantastic. So the Nets open tomorrow, and I really think against Milwaukee and Giannis, I really think that's going to be their toughest series. I really do.
Yeah, it is. And the Hawks play the 76ers. Is that who's playing? Nets, Bucks, Hawks, 76ers?
Yeah, that's the matchup, and things are lining up pretty well because, the Sixers, they could be a little short-handed because
they could be.
Joel Embiid,
he's hurt, right?
Yep. So he has a partial tear of the meniscus, and so I tell you, there should be no excuses for the Nets.
That's right.
They're really looking
good. No, they should be able to win the whole thing now. Now that LeBron's gone.
That's what I'm thinking. Right, Fran? Good morning.
Good morning. I knew it was going to be sports talk with Lawrence and Rick.
No doubt about it.
Everybody's good.
So how are you?
Good. Welcome to June in beautiful Ulster County, right?
It's going to start warming up. It's going to be a little toasty these next, 4 or 5 days?
That's what I hear. Last weekend we had the fireplace on, and this weekend we'll be in the pool. It was cool. Did you have your heat on last weekend at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So we didn't turn the heat on. We just put the fireplace on. Oh. we shut the heat off some time ago and didn't turn it back on. So all good.
Don't have a fireplace in my apartment.
There you go.
But, yeah, so now I think we're going to be definitely switching over to the air conditioning. So
yeah, right, a big switch.
So I understand we have a good lineup today.
Yeah.
Starting with the Rear
Center. They have a new exhibit starting today, actually. So Sarah Litzen, and a surprise guest, because Sarah didn't tell me who it is, but it's a teacher, a local teacher who has helped with this exhibit. They're calling in at 7:30.
It's on the front page of the Freeman.
The exhibit. Oh, very good. How timely.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
Recreating a bakery. It's on the front of the Freeman today. So we're going to be talking about that from 7:30 to 8 a.m. And then 8 to 9, we have a special guest, no stranger to KCR. And that would be our very own Ulster County Clerk, Nina Postupak. So from 8 to 9, we're going to talk to Nina, because Nina comes on and always has guests, but she doesn't get to talk about DMV. I hear a lot of buzz, people saying, is it open? Is it not open? Do I need to call first? So we're going to clarify a lot of that and what you can accomplish at DMV. We're going to talk about the county clerk's office itself and their exhibit on the first floor of the county office building. And we are going to talk about the Person House. And some people might not even realize that the Person House is connected to the county clerk's office.
You and I know that, though.
We do know that from our tourism days. And still working with the county clerk's office in my new role at the Board of Elections in Ulster County, because we're working on, starting with elementary school, we're working on a book. You know how and some people also might not know this, the county clerk's office has a number of booklets for kids, educational about history and all kinds of things. And we're doing a voting book and the history of voting in Ulster County. You're going to like this book when it comes out. There's a lot of fun facts and things, and we're starting with like the elementary school level, although I've learned a lot just putting the book together. So yeah, all the little offerings that we don't know maybe are out there.
Well, Nina, as she does a fantastic job.
Absolutely, and her entire staff, Nina and her entire staff. Incredible.
You know, Alice, her deputy, and it was really one of the highlights of my almost 15 years in tourism was working with Nina and her office. We had a lot of projects together, and they do a fantastic job. So I'm looking forward to having her in person, right?
Yes, she's coming in. So our 7:30 to 8, they're calling in, and 8 to 9, Nina is coming in to the station here at 16 Lucas Avenue. We are upstairs from Spa 21. Some people still don't know that KCR moved.
Really? Wow.
So, yeah, Nina's coming in from 8 to 9. We'll do birthdays at 8
No, we won't do any birthdays because Lawrence told me there are no birthdays.
Nobody sent
today.
Any in?
Yeah, nothing. So
that's a bummer. No cow pie for anybody.
No, I'm afraid not. So if people want to call in, this is Rick Remsnyder with Fran DiPetrillo, and it's 331-9255. So if anybody's awake out there, now's the time to call. Speaking of board elections, I saw there's some very exciting news. You'll be moving to my old stomping grounds at the Daily
Freeman building, yeah.
So what's the deal on that?
Yeah, that was the Daily Freeman that I'm pretty sure put that information out there, because the Ulster County legislature actually has not voted on that yet. So it's not a go as of yet, but it's a potential site. And a lot of people probably don't realize, like, there's a whole other tech division to the Board of Elections, and they need to move. I don't know how much this was explained in the article. They need to move out of their space. Our lease is ending in our space, and so we would be under one roof and there's the loading docks for all the machines and things like that. So the space really does make a lot of sense. There's parking for the people who come to Board of Elections. I can now say it's a busy counter. The people come in all day, every day. And so there's great parking. And it's obviously not the whole space. It's just part of the space we would be sharing. But it has not been voted on yet. But it would make a lot of sense given 2 locations coming under one roof with the loading dock. It would be fantastic. So.
According to the article, and if I'm wrong, somebody can call him and correct me, but I understand the Freeman is looking for a new location to relocate their operation. So
yes,
that's going back to when I worked there in the late 70s through 1990. I can tell you there's a lot of space there.
There is a lot of space. It's an amazing building. But they also, as you read in the article, there's a lot of other places looking to come in and share the space. So that would be exciting. I could use some bike repairs. I have 2 bikes that need to go into the bike shop, so
okay.
I could use that, but that'd be a long wait. I don't want to waste the season. I went Monday with a group of people to the Ashokan Rail Trail to ride bikes, and I've walked it a lot, but I haven't ridden a bike on the trail. It was wonderful. With the exception of the deer that came flying across.
Oh.
So when you're going that fast on a bike, then you think twice. And I kept my eyes peeled on the sides of the trail the rest of the time. But it was absolutely gorgeous and peaceful. Have you gotten a chance to get out there at all?
Not this year.
No. If you're walking, you're going to be walking the golf course, not the rail trail.
And I do a lot of walking now, but not that people are interested probably, but I had that plantar fasciitis, and I hope nobody ever gets that because that is really bad. So I'm pretty much done with that, so I'm able to walk around. There's a lot of great places to walk in the city. So I have not been to the Ashokan Rail Trail, but how crowded was it? Was it midweek or during the weekend?
It was Memorial Day itself because it rained all weekend, and Memorial Day was the first semi-nice day. It was hard to tell whether it was still raining or whether it was just residual coming off the trees because it was a little windy. I'm going to say no, it wasn't crowded. Yeah. And we were there at a reasonable hour, like 9 a.m., so it was not crowded.
Yeah, I'm not surprised because I've taken 2 or 3 trips up 28 going to different places, and during the week and even the weekend, I noticed that, the parking lot's not jammed as they used to be. Of course, you can't see them all from the road, but I remember... I think just like anything else, it takes people, the little shine wears off eventually. But I'll tell you, I have to give so much credit to our former county executive, Mike Heim. What a fantastic job he did with that rail trail.
Yeah,
Chris
White.
Yep, Chris, a world-class rail trail. So if anybody likes a nice hiking or biking experience, certainly the Ashokan Rail Trail is a great place. But, there's so many. I think the last number that we had when you and I were in tourism, I think there's like 70 miles of trails, walkable, rideable trails in Ulster County. That's a lot. So there's a lot of options.
Yeah, there are a lot of options. And now that you're mentioning the parking lots to the Ashokan Rail Trail, there are 3 of them. We were at the middle one, and it was half full. So I maybe passed a handful of people on the trail the whole time. So that's the nice thing. So if the parking lot was half full, there are people out there using it, but you're not all on top of each other.
Yeah, there's a lot of good space.
Which is the other nice thing. So yeah. And this past Tuesday, I don't know all of the details, but we know there's the new trail down by Hutton Brickyard, and Hutton Brickyard is open, and Tuesday they started the Hutton Hangout, I think it's called.
Right.
So there's food and bar and a beautiful area for people to gather. So I saw on Facebook that a lot of people enjoyed that, and I hope to check it out. I think it's every Tuesday evening. So I hope to check it out one of these Tuesdays.
Yeah, no, my girlfriend and I, Tamara, we're going down there. Today's her birthday, so
Oh, yes.
I don't think she's up yet. But
We
if
we
she is,
share-
happy birthday.
We share the week. Happy birthday,
but we're-
Tamara.
But we're going down for dinner down there tonight, so I'll have a
very
full,
nice.
full report.
Next time, we'll get a full report on dinner at Hutton Brickyard.
Yeah, so
That's exciting.
yeah, it's really
very good.
should be great.
Yay.
You haven't been down there, have you, Lawrence? The new the Hutton Brickyard.
No, I haven't.
Well, we'll give you a full report too.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the Hutton Hangout Tuesdays. But you can also go to dinner, as Rick mentioned. Is dinner just on the weekends, like Friday through or Thursday through? I'll have to Google that during during a break and find out. Was it Tamara saying
Yeah, she
thanks?
said thank you, Fran.
Happy birthday. Very exciting. I hope your dinner's fabulous.
I know if I was today was my birthday, and I wasn't doing the show, I wouldn't be up at 7:15 a.m. But unless I was getting ready to go play golf, but
Well, yeah, depends what you're going to do. Is she working today?
I don't believe so. I don't think she's working on her birthday, so
Okay.
which is kind of nice. And so I see that UPAC and Bardavon's reopening, after being closed for more than a year. That's really exciting news.
That is exciting news. Yeah, things are popping up and opening, and it's very exciting. They had the Woodstock New Paltz Art and Craft Fair.
Yep.
Which I'm sure neither of
Oh,
us
boy.
necessarily missed working on
You're
Memorial
right.
Day. It was my first Memorial Day weekend off in 7 years. I was very excited.
Wow, yeah.
But the tourism staff did do the 3 days and they held it across the street from the Ulster County Fairgrounds. So there's always ulstercountyalive.com to check out the calendar of events of what's going on.
Right.
And
Yep.
I left my trending calendar in the car. So I meant to bring it in to say what was going on.
Oh, well.
It was very nice of Nadine to send us that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I felt bad for the people, my former staff, and of course the new director, Lisa Berger, when Saturday and Sunday was just the weather.
I know.
You know, it's interesting because the Woodstock New Paltz Crafts Fair, except I think I manned it 14 years or something, and I think only one time did they have a real washout in all those years.
Wow.
They were very lucky, had good weather, and I just felt so bad for them this weekend. So this past weekend, with the way it was Saturday and Sunday, I'm sure some people still went. Monday was pretty good, so hopefully they're back now. And they were at the Field of Dreams, so I'm hoping it went okay for them, and we'll see what happens in Labor Day when they're back for another one. Ulster County Fair is on. The county pool's about to reopen.
County pool's going to open in July, so 1 month from now. So they'll be open July and August. They'll be closing Labor Day weekend.
Great.
So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting, now that it's official that the county fair is on, try to schedule Gary Newkirk, the fair manager, in an upcoming show to talk about the fair. And, it was a rough year last year. They didn't have it, obviously, but I saw the lineup. It's not 100% lined up yet for the entertainment on the main stage, but usually they have really great entertainment there. So we'll get Gary there to talk about that. So
You're having Gary on. Are you
Well,
going to have Gary on? We should have
Yeah, I'd
closer
love
to
to
the
have
fair.
him on, yeah.
We should have him on closer to the fair.
Oh, Tamara let me know that she is working. Okay.
see,
So unlike when you and I were in tourism, my birthday, as you well know, December
holiday.
31st.
Oh, yeah.
I was never there.
Never there.
I'm sorry.
Yes, New Year's Eve and
was
Rick's
not working on
birthday.
my,
right. So very good. You are working. For those that don't know, Tamara's the director of marketing and sales for the Emerson, the beautiful Emerson Resort and Spa. I haven't been out there in a while. I think I'm due. I haven't been out since the restaurant moved over to the old Catamount, newly renovated and updated, and that looked amazing. I saw an article, must have been on Facebook, about that. Yeah, so always something new and exciting happening out there in the shops.
Don't feel bad. I haven't
been
been
out
to the
there.
new one.
Oh, you haven't been out either. I did have a lovely dinner at Annarella this past weekend. It's always good out in Saugerties. Give them a little shout out because it's always an excellent dinner or meal, whatever you go for. Service is always good. Oh, speaking of service, and we were talking about fairs, the Ulster County Regional Chamber of Commerce, unfortunately I missed it, but I understand they had a virtual career fair. Right. And, just a reminder to everybody, there are so many places looking for help looking to hire people, especially the hospitality industry. So there are plenty of jobs out there if anybody's looking for a job. Ulster County Regional Chamber of Commerce is probably one good center source you could start with. If you give them a call, 338-5100, they can probably direct you to quite a few people that are hiring. So
yeah, I listened to part of that when it was happening, and they had a real good turnout of tourism and hospitality businesses. And from what I understand, there were quite a few people, potential employees that were, looking at the or registering, so I hope they find some folks because there are a lot of jobs out there, no question about it.
There are, and what better than to work in hospitality? I can't let it go. I'm working a wedding tomorrow at the Elm Rock Inn in Stone Ridge.
Really?
I love it.
What do you do when you work?
I'm like catering staff, wait staff, but it's so fun. You get to see the weddings, and it's a beautiful place, and it's fantastic.
Great. I have the trending calendar because I would never remember to bring it except for to put it on my phone. So this weekend, actually, it started yesterday. There was the Catskill Outfitters Fly Fishing Tournament in Phoenicia. It was yesterday and today. Let's see what else is going on. I'm not really familiar with this. The third annual Far and Wide National Exhibition in Woodstock, June 4th through July 18th.
I'm not familiar with that one either. And I just recalled that June is Pride Month, so people could go to the Hudson Valley LGBTQ website or Big K Hudson Valley and find out. I think they have events going on all throughout the month as well, some which might be on the trending calendar that you'll find on Ulster County Alive.
We can talk to Nina about this. The Person House is opening, reopening June 17th. So that's going to be happening. The Woodstock Playhouse is back, opening. Fame the Musical at the Woodstock Playhouse, June 11th through 13th. So go on the Woodstock Playhouse website if you want to see that. And it's so great to see everything coming back on some sort of semblance of normality. It's just, I know a lot of concerts are coming up throughout the country, which is great to see. I didn't know if it would ever happen, this fast.
Right.
But the vaccinations. People still need to be safe, obviously, masking and social distancing. But, you look at some of these concerts and sporting events. I was watching the Knicks before they got eliminated. Too bad, you Knicks fans, my Nets are still alive. I didn't get to say that very often over the years. But
yeah, true.
It was like crazy. I mean, it was just, I think they had 16,000. They could have completely sold out the building, but they did save some seats. But it was just, as raucous as pre-pandemic. So, sporting events seem to be back, and which is really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, nice to see. And, I don't have a problem even being vaccinated, wearing a mask in public places. I mean, I think we're going to see that. I was talking to my dermatologist yesterday about that, actually. I think in public settings, we're still going to see the masks.
Yes.
And that's okay. I mean, if I don't get a cold or the flu because of it, okay, that's great.
So, it's still a little confusing, I think, because obviously, a lot of the places like Quick Check, Stewart's, places like that, they took down the signs.
They did.
And they took down the little circles where you're supposed to be 6 feet away. And I see in some of the places it must be optional because for the employees because some of them are wearing masks, some of them aren't wearing masks. And, I still wear a mask when I go into places like that, but every day it seems to be a little more.
Fewer people wearing them.
Masks.
Yeah, I'm okay wearing them. So, I noticed I was running into Hannaford the other day, and customers coming out didn't have them on, and I was like, I don't know. I guess it's up to the proprietor, like where you're going into, whether they're requiring it or not. But I think they're just so tired of policing it. So
yeah,
it doesn't bother me to wear it.
Yeah, well, some of the national chains have gone on record that the masks are not required. So, people just have to check out the requirements and go from there. Now, something happening this weekend, we can also... Our guest coming up, we can talk about this. The Hurricane Qualifier is being held tomorrow at Twofskill. We have only 50 competitors for 36 spots, plus ties. So that means, Lawrence, you might have to dust off the golf clubs for next year because you would all, I ran into Bill Zay. Do you know Bill Zay? He's a longtime tennis player, really a great tennis player. And he hasn't tried to qualify in the Hurricane for a while. And he played a practice round at Twofskill yesterday. And he was, saying, well, I don't know what I'm going to, have qualify. And I said, really, to be honest with you, you only need to beat 14 guys out of 50 because there's 36 spots.
I need to get some new clubs, so that maybe I'll do that at the end of the year and invest in some new clubs. I just don't get out as much as I'd like to,
Yeah. Well, the defending champion, the four-time defending champion, Justin Lane, fantastic golfer, is not playing. He's committed to play in the Met Golf Association's Ike Championship, so we will have a new champion this year.
Cool. We got the guest called in early. You want to go to break now, and then we can come back with the guest?
Sure.
All right,
Sounds
great.
good. We'll be right back.
All right.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Screening exams for breast, lung, or colorectal cancers are necessary to detect and treat disease at its earliest, most curable stage. But you may have some concerns and questions. Answer your questions and ease your fears by visiting radiologyinfo.org. In addition to information on screening and wellness, you'll find more than 200 descriptions of radiologic exams, procedures, and treatments to help you prepare. Get informed and be prepared. Visit radiologyinfo.org. Produced by the Radiological Society of North America and the American College of Radiology.
Hi, my name is Jackie Levezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support the Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio has been brought to you by the First Savings Bank in Ulster County that still remains local to this day. Ulster Savings Bank, a community bank that's invested in local business, invested in community, invested in you. Ulster Savings Bank, your one-stop resource for everything local. Locations throughout the Hudson Valley and online at ulstersavings.com. Member FDIC.
Okay, we're back. Rick and Fran.
Good morning. So do we have Sarah?
Here.
Or do we have Nicole? They're both there. Okay.
All right. Hello. I hear voices.
Yes. Other one. Where's the speakers? Oh, all the way over. So we're just turning your volume up a little bit. So if you both wouldn't mind introducing yourselves for us this morning.
Sure, I'll go first. I'm Sarah Litzen. I am the director of the Rear Center for Immigrant Culture and History, which is a new museum and cultural center in an old historic bakery. I'm sure some of you are familiar with Rear's Bakery in the Rondout in Kingston.
Very good.
And I'm Nicole Fody. I am the fashion design teacher at Ulster BOCES Career and Technical Center. We're here in Port Ewan, just down the street from the Rear Center.
Very good. And Nicole, your role in this?
So Sarah and I have been working very closely. My students specifically have been a major part in this project by taking the work from other students, local students, and taking that information and then turning it into garment design and garment embellishment to tell the stories of these women and girls who have worked in the garment industry back in Kingston in the 1900s, early 1900s.
Very interesting. So I see it made front page of the Daily Freeman today. So tell us all about what's going on starting, I think it started yesterday or today?
So we ended up, well, it really started over a year ago, but the exhibition opening is today. The weather report has been so tricky to try to navigate around. So we moved it to our rain date of this evening, and hopefully it still won't rain. Everybody pray.
Okay.
But this project really began over a year ago. Before COVID hit, the Rear Center had planned to open our Sewing in Kingston exhibition in our gallery space back a year ago in summer 2020. And we'd been doing all of this research into the history of the garment industry, talking with former owners, former customers, contemporary makers. And because we had worked with Nicole in the fashion program at BOCES a couple of years ago, she knew about us and she said, hey, can we get my students involved? And at the time we were trying to think of sort of small ways, we could do programs together. But when the COVID pandemic hit, I realized this whole exhibition was going to have to get pushed off a year. And I don't even remember when or how Nicole and I started talking. And we're like, wait a second, let's take advantage of the opportunity of this gap and really do something special and really focus on the potential of these kids to help flesh out parts of the story. And in the early 20th century, there are not people we can interview, right? We can't do oral histories with women who worked in the garment factory in 1918. But we had this amazing document, which was a list of names published in the Daily Freeman in 1918, listing the factory workers. So on its own, it was a super boring document. It was just a list of names. But luckily, I have a background in social history. So to me, it's like, aha, this is the way in. We can use those names, do research using the census records from those years, and then be able to kind of flesh out who these women were, find out where they lived, who they lived with, what occupation their husband or parents had. And that was sort of the beginning of this project where we thought, wow, if we could find out who these women were and then treat them as customers, right? That's a lot of the work Nicole does anyhow with her students, but we could do it specifically for these women who worked, and we chose one factory, F. Jacobson and Sons Shirt Factory, which is today, of course, the shirt factory in Kingston that folks are familiar with. So I'll pause there, but I want to talk about one additional piece of this, but I want to let Nicole get in there if you want to talk more about what
you're doing very well, Sarah, so I'll let you take the lead.
Well, I'll just want to add this one piece because I think part of what was so cool about this is that teachers, Nicole and two others, this year, everyone knows how insane it was for teachers this year, but they responded to our idea and really went so far above and beyond working with their students to produce something of meaning So the opening that we're having tonight really is a celebration of the students' work and the teachers' work to pull this together and work all together this year. And those teachers I just want to name, Ann Mino, who's at Kingston Catholic School, and her 7th and 8th grade kids did research. They're the ones who worked actually also with the Ulster County Archive to go into the records, all online, of course, and find the stories of these women. So the project started there, and they did this research.
That's
And
very
we
interesting
thought that-
because we have Nina Postupak, the county clerk, coming in from 8 to 9. So we'll have to talk to her a little bit about working with the students with the archives.
Absolutely. Oh, that would be wonderful. Yes, Taylor was just wonderful in helping us do research. So then we thought that we would take that research and then Nicole's students would make these garments. But Nicole, do you want to talk about what we decided to do instead?
Yeah. So as Sarah mentioned, this is definitely not a typical year, especially in a career in tech. From that career in tech perspective, where our classes are very much hands-on, and so as a way to make this project accessible to all students, because we're currently in a hybrid format, which means that some of our students are learning from home remotely, and then some of them are here in the classroom 1 day a week to get an extended period of hands-on lab time. But it's definitely different this year than we've had in the past. So by working with a local seamstress, Maria Cabrera, actually, who's local to Kingston, she produced this reproduction blouse that was inspired by the time period. So she was given an image of F. Jacobson and Sons Shirt Factory, the women who worked there, and she came up with these designs. We narrowed it down to one, and then she produced 9 different blouses, 10 actually, that would be almost like the blank canvas for our students to embellish upon and tell the stories of these 9 specific girls and women that the Kingston Catholic students found on this list of employees from F. Jacobson and Sons. And so they found the demographic information. They prepared a presentation that they then gave to Rhinebeck High students in a creative writing class. And then those students took that historical research, used their own imaginations to compose this fictional diary entry as if, from the perspective of either that girl or woman. And then all of that information, so we call that demographics, which is things like a person's age, gender, marital status, where they're from, things like that. And then psychographics, which are things like someone's values, what type of personality they have. And all of those come together to help a designer understand who their customer is. And so we took this information, students read into the diary, they picked out specific details that they felt best represented this person, and then they embellished one of these blouses. They worked in partners, so we had first-year students and second-year students work on this project. And the first-year students embellished the blouses, so they had the opportunity to do things by hand, which made it accessible for students that don't have a sewing machine at home. And then some of them were coming into the classroom, so they used the sewing machines here. And then the students, the second-year students, they designed another garment to go with that blouse to also tell the story of that individual. So it's really exciting. It's been very much a community collaborative project.
Yeah, I was going to say, collaborated even with Rhinebeck schools, right? Yeah.
There are so many layers to it. And it's been so exciting to not only work with other students in the area, but also with business owners and industry professionals like Maria Cabrera, and working with local graphic designers and photographers to really produce this very professional, exciting exhibit that is going to be on display throughout the summer.
And all I can picture was through COVID, Maria making those thousands and thousands of masks. So I'm glad to hear that she was involved in this project.
She was, and she was just such an amazing part. You know, she was a part of our Sewing in Kingston exhibition. We're featuring her story because she has an amazing story, and of course, so much of this is connected to the story of immigrant women, right, who've worked in the garment industry over generation after generation. And Maria herself was an immigrant from Mexico. So I already knew her, and she already knew about the project, but she was just so excited to get to work with the students because she has such a passion for sewing and for the artistry and skill involved, and wanting to show that and teach that to students has always been sort of a personal passion of hers. So I think especially in this year, you know, when it was so hard to have those connections, to meet new people, to feel like you were able to, you know, put yourself out there, she gave so much of herself, not only in designing the patterns and in reproducing the blouses, but then also in working with Nicole's students.
Mm-hmm. So oh, sorry, Nicole, you were going to say something.
No, that's quite all right. Go ahead.
I was just curious if you can just tell us all about this evening and what's in store and who can attend and how long the exhibit will be out for.
Sure. So this evening from 5 to 8, we're going to have an opening. So we're going to have refreshments, and we're going to just kind of get together and celebrate the accomplishments of the students. Hopefully, we're going to have folks from all 3 schools who are involved in this getting to meet each other. You know, there are 9 women who worked at F. Jacobson & Sons whose story is represented in this show. But there are students from Kingston Catholic, Rhinebeck High, and Ulster BOCES who really spent time with this woman's story. So we're going to really focus on helping the kids to meet each other, the ones who worked on the same woman's story, and then all of us just to come out and celebrate this local history, our being together. So we'll have refreshments and the opportunity to just enjoy the exhibition and be together. To make it a little bit safer, because there are so many people involved and we want everybody to come, we're asking everybody to register. It's free, but there are 20-minute time slots. So if you go to our website, rehercenter.org, REHER center.org, and click on events, you can see the Eventbrite registration link right there. So it's free. Everyone's welcome. We're actually going to have really delicious cupcakes made by Linda, who is an immigrant herself, who owns Grounded right next door to the Rear Center.
Oh, very nice, yes. Mm-hmm.
So we're really thrilled that this is just such a collaborative community event. And so just come out and join us. And it's in the courtyard of the Rear Center, which is, the closest address is 3 Spring Street. So it's right at the corner of Broadway and Spring. Mm-hmm. And the exhibition continues in the front windows. And you know, as Nicole mentioned, the first-year students worked on embellishing these reproduction blouses that were made by Maria Cabrera. The second-year students actually designed and fabricated a second garment that would, you know, be for that woman. Mm-hmm. So a skirt or a shawl or a beautiful tiara. So there are many ways to sort of appreciate and enjoy the work that all of these students did. And I just wanted to make sure to name Stephanie Baird, who is the English teacher at Rhinebeck High, who really jumped in, because when Nicole and I originally envisioned this project, we thought, okay, we'll get the demographic information, working with the county archives and working with Kingston Catholic, and then we'll be able to have Nicole's students, you know, make these garments. But as she mentioned, just following the process of, you know, working for a customer, you need that psychographic, you need the kind of emotional aspect. Did the woman like her job? Did she, you know, what did she do for fun? And that's how we came up with the idea that this could really be a creative writing project. And Stephanie and the students at Rhinebeck High jumped in and really did so much to both research the history of that era and then imagine the lives of these women who we knew so little about, just, you know, the basic census information.
Right.
So they'll be there as well, and I just want to acknowledge all the work of all of them.
I'm just curious, these 9 women that worked for F. Jacobson and Sons factory in the early 20th century, through the research, do they have any families still living in the area?
So that was one of the things that we started at the beginning to try to find or locate any of them. And we came up short, or so we thought, until midway through this project, one of the students at Kingston Catholic School discovered that one of the women who his classmate was researching was his great-grandma. So
wow.
It was amazing.
That is amazing, because I thought how nice if generations later they were able to attend tonight's event.
Exactly. And hopefully through the publicity that we're doing, for this exhibition, they'll come out and find us. But it's researching women, especially single women, which many of these workers were, is very challenging because their names change when they marry. So to try to track down descendants is very challenging.
But how amazing his great-grandmother.
It was so cool. That was really exciting. The other thing I wanted to mention is it wasn't one of the women from 1918, but through the work that we did, doing outreach about this project, we got the chance to interview a woman who's over 100 years old now, who worked at F. Jacobson and Sons in the 1930s.
Wow.
So when she was a teenager. So Mary Berardi, who lives at Golden Hills right now, we got a chance over Zoom, thanks to her social worker and her children who got us in touch, to interview her and learn all about what her memories were. She met her husband while she was working there, who was an immigrant from Italy. And, both of them worked at F. Jacobson and Sons. So
were you able to video the interview?
We were, yeah. So that's going to become a part of our Sewing in Kingston exhibition, which is still going to open in our gallery space in a couple of months. We're still raising the funds to complete the renovations to that space. So if you're listening and you want to help us get there and get this fuller story of Sewing in Kingston up in action, you can also donate to that project at rearcenter.org.
Good to know.
Hey, Sarah, this is Rick Remsnyder. How you doing this morning?
Hey, good to hear you.
Yeah, good. Yeah, one of these days maybe we'll see each other soon. I know you guys do great work at the Rare Center. When Fran and I were in tourism, you used to have your meetings in our second floor conference room with the county historian, Jeff Miller, and of course Barbara Cohen, yourself, and some other board members. Why don't you give a little background on the Rare Center itself for those people who may not have been down there, and how long you've been open, and hopefully everybody can come to this event. But if not, when are you open, and so people can get in there and take a look at some of the the great exhibits you have.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah. So Rear's Bakery was a functioning bread bakery. It was a family-run neighborhood business from 1908 until about 1980. And the Rear family it was an immigrant Jewish family. Frank Rear came from Eastern Europe, and his 6 kids took over the business, and they ran it until 1980. They lived upstairs. And in 2004, just before the youngest passed away, he donated the building. And at that time, it was the Jewish Federation of Ulster County who there was a committee of folks within it who had this vision to preserve this space and to create an immigrant culture center to tell the local history of the Rondout neighborhood and the many immigrants who've lived and worked there. So that committee was an all-volunteer project. They founded the annual Kingston Multicultural Festival, and they did a lot of work to preserve that building. In 2017, actually, they kind of got me involved, and I have a background in museums. I used to work at the Tenement Museum in New York City, and we started to work on really kind of refining what this building could be as an immigrant history and culture site that would be really meaningful for the full community, telling both stories of the past and what's happening in our community now, and providing programming both on-site and in the schools and in the larger community. So we were able to get open in 2019 really 2018 for a couple of focus groups and And just to get folks in to find out what they thought, in 2019, we opened for historic bakery tours for the first time. And then, of course, in 2020, we had to close. But we are working right now on so many different things, including the Kingston Multicultural Festival, which is happening this year in T.R. Gallo Park, alongside the Waterfront Farmers Market. So there's going to be music, and there's going to be food vendors from different parts of the world, and we worked with the Culinary Institute to curate those. And there's going to be our Worry Dolls project. And the Worry Dolls project really focuses on this aspect of Guatemalan culture and the legend of the worry doll, which is if you make a little doll to represent a worry you have and you put it under your pillow at night, in the morning, you'll figure out what to do. And so we want everyone to learn about and celebrate the Guatemalan culture that so many of our fellow Kingstonians are bringing to our mix here in Kingston, and also to make their own worry dolls to handle all the worries we have. So join us at the Multicultural Festival. It's going to be Sundays, June 13th, 20th, and 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in T.R. Gallo Park. So that's one thing coming up. And then we're going to get our building open again. So in July is when we're going to start our historic bakery tours. And that's going to be really, if anyone has been to the Tenement Museum in New York City, very similar. We're setting the retail shop of Rear's Bakery to look like 1959, and you'll have a guided tour that really brings the space to life using oral histories of folks both from that era who remember the bakery and also of today, contemporary immigrant voices talking about some of these same themes, the significance of church, what it is to start an immigrant family business and to work in one. So we're going to offer those tours. They'll be ticketed, and you'll be able to buy your tickets online at rearcenter.org. So stay tuned. We haven't yet put that up, but that's going to start in July. And then, as I mentioned, we're going to get our gallery back open. We opened it in 2018 on a very shoestring budget. We've had 7 exhibitions there, but to prepare for Sewing in Kingston, we really wanted to do some work to have better lighting, better ventilation, bathrooms, because we've done everything we've done without bathrooms on site. And so with your help, we'll be able to open that later this fall. And that's the short-term answer to your question.
Great. By the way, if people want to know about the Kingston Multicultural Festival, it's on the Rare Center website, the dates that Sarah mentioned and the times. I have to say, you guys did, all the volunteers and everything did an amazing job with the Rear Center, and I encourage people to go in there. Remember when you had an open house and went down there? I was really amazed on the size of the space and how you folks had really cleaned things up, and you did a great job with that corner, so I commend you. If people aren't really 100, the address is 101 Broadway, I believe, but if people aren't 100% sure where it is, just go down like you're going to the police station. Not that we want you to stop there, but you go right by the police station, and then across the street on the other corner is the Rare Center. So I know that you've had talk a little bit about the recordings you did. I know one of my friends, Dan Reinhardt, was recorded. He used to go down to the Rare Center and buy bread. Talk about how that worked and how you did that, and if people want to listen to those, how that works, because I forget, to be honest with you.
Right, and it is very interesting. I was also wondering, Sarah, in addition to Rick's question there, if Mary Berardi that you interviewed remembered her time going to the bakery. So go ahead.
Yes. So, Mary Berardi did not remember the bakery, but her son, or I guess we didn't ask her about it, honestly, but her son, whose father, Tom Berardi, who lives in Albany now, he came down to Rear's Bakery, and I met him because we had a Rear Rolls revival. And this kind of gets into Rick's question as well. So the Rear family had this bakery, for 80 years. They did not leave their recipe behind, right? Which has made it quite exciting for us. working to create a museum there honoring the legacy of it when the bread, which was the whole thing that brought everyone together, doesn't exist anymore. But like everything, we're treating it as an opportunity to try to bring folks together to tell us what it was like. And so these recordings Rick is mentioning is with former customers, and we're still collecting memories. We have a survey that we ask customers former customers to fill out. What was the texture of the bread? What was the flavor? What was the shape and the size? And so this is one piece of our puzzle, and we're actually working with local bakers to try to figure out, based on what former customers have said, what the recipe could have been. So like reverse engineering the recipe. So that's an ongoing project. But one thing that we did, sort of the very first step of what we call in museum speak, interpreting the space, or sort of bringing it to life to tell a specific story, was that we found a piece of paper, like a brown paper bag with names written on it, and it was called Sunday List, and there was this whole list of names. And that was in 2017 when I first got involved. They said, this is the key. This tells us who was the community who came to the bakery. And what we found was this was almost like a who's who of Sunday Mass at St. Mary's Church, the Immaculate Conception, and St. Peter's, which are right there close to the Rear Center. And so we've been doing interviews with folks, and we started by doing it as a digital project before we could even raise the funds and be able to get into the space to make changes. So we still have those interviews, and you can view it online. You can go to our website, rearcenter.org, and then it's under digital exhibits. And so it's called the Sunday List Project, and you can see the digital copy of that list. And then you'll see there little video clips of oral histories where you can click and listen to the stories of Dan Reinhardt and his cousin Kathleen Bikert, who together remembered what it was like on Sundays, and many others from the Kingston community, and specifically those church communities.
Great. I encourage people to go on a website and listen to some of those, because they are great remembrances.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And if you have memories of the rolls and of the bakery, especially what it looked like inside the retail shop, if you have that kind of some people have those visual memories, please do be in touch with us. You can get me at Sarah, SARA8, at rearcenter.org. And, we have an event tonight, so it may take me a bit to get back to you, but I will. And we'd really love to hear more of those stories to help build out our interpretation, the stories that we can tell on our historic bakery tours.
Mm-hmm. And if somebody's holding out and has the Rear Bakery recipe, please contact Sarah. Sarah and Nicole, this has just been very enlightening, and I wish you the best with this evening and the ongoing exhibit. Did you have anything else you wanted to add in as we're wrapping up the half hour?
Just want to thank you for your time and for the opportunity to share this out.
Oh, thank you for coming on.
It's an honor working with the local community, working with Sarah at Rear Center, and really just bringing people together to share the story of community.
Great. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I would say, echo those sentiments. It's been such a pleasure working with Nicole and with all of the students and the other teachers. And I would just say, we're the themes of our site. Take the story of Rear's Bakery and say immigration, community, work, and bread. These are things that brought people together at Rear's Bakery. And so if you have ideas, if you have stories, ways in which those themes connect to your own family history, your community in Kingston now, please be in touch, because this really is a place where we're trying to elevate the stories of folks who are here, things that are important. That's how we got to the story of the garment industry. Ward Mintz, one of our board members, was a part of the Latino Folklife study and learned that so many folks in the contemporary Latino community are teaching their kids to sew. And this is such an important part also of the history of Kingston as a center for the garment industry. So these kinds of ideas or topics that connect past and present, that's what we're looking for. So if you have ideas, please be in touch and be a part of what we're doing here.
Great. Good to know.
We hope to see you guys tonight, 5 to 8 p.m. We'll be in the courtyard.
Yes. Everybody reserve your spot. It's free.
Yes.
But please reserve.
It's free. Exactly. We can't wait to see you and to share out what all these kids have done. Amazing work.
Well, Sarah and Nicole, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and best of luck with your event tonight.
Yep. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
And we're going to take a break now, and we're going to come back with one of our favorite people, Ulster County Clerk Nina Postupak, for the remaining hour.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
Rondout Savings Bank has a long history of serving local communities and maintaining a strong tradition of customer service excellence while providing each customer with the personal attention they deserve. Rondout Savings' approach to community banking puts you and the growth of your business in the front of everything they do. They're a different kind of bank and would like to tell you why, so please reach out to one of their expert business bankers for an appointment and let them show you what they can do for you. Rondout Savings Bank, always working for you and the community with branches in Kingston, West Hurley, and Hyde Park. Also online at rondoutbank.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
All right, we're back. Rick Remsnyder with Fran DiPetrillo, and one of our favorite people in the whole wide world. Forget the county.
in the whole wide world.
Ulster County Clerk Nina Postupak. How are you this morning, Nina, except for your car troubles?
Yes, I'm doing very well, and I was really happy to get the phone call yesterday to come on the show with you guys. Yeah, it's nice to be on the other end.
I had well, that was the thing. I had a meeting with Lori Hancock and Taylor and Barbara, 3 of your staff who are absolutely incredible people, Nina. Truly.
Oh, thank you.
And I realized you're no stranger to KCR, but you're usually on this end, the interview end, and you have so much to talk about between the county clerk's office, DMV, the person house, and I thought, ooh, if we could get Nina, and here you are.
Oh, thank you so much, Fran. But you know what? It's great what we're collaborating on, and thank you for all the nice words about the staff. But thank you for working with us. What a great initiative.
Fun. We're doing a book
Yes.
for elementary school students on voting, the history of voting, and Ulster County Board of Elections and the Ulster County Clerk's Office. So I'm learning a lot, and it's the elementary level of the book.
It's great, though. I mean, the
advanced.
timeline of, voting and how voting rights, came to be, and how we are today, and Ulster County government. Yeah. And so the Board of Elections thought it was a great idea, and then they reached out to us, and we were like, oh, my gosh. So, Fran, I mean, you're doing a phenomenal job. All the graphics.
No. That's Jen Fuentes.
Yeah, she's great at that.
That's Jen. And she's loving this project. So thank you for collaborating with us. And our history is so amazing. And I don't know, you were probably quite busy before you got here this morning. We just had Sarah Litzen from the Rear Center on.
Yes.
Because tonight's their event. And talking about the history. And so they said they used the archives to start it out like a year ago through the clerk's office.
Yeah, and so it was a little bit of a challenge because it was a pandemic, and they wanted us to reach out to the school children, to the elementary schools that were participating so that they could research our records. So we're like, how are we going to do this? Mm-hmm. So we ended up creating actually a video showing them how to research. We were given names of women that worked in the factories, and they actually went through the census records. They obtained all the information. It was, again, a great collaboration, and so exciting that tonight's the opening. Originally it was scheduled for last night, right? Yes.
They went with the rain date.
Yes, I don't blame, which could still be rain tonight.
Yeah, it looks a little sketchy tonight.
Yeah, it does.
But I think for a Friday night, and it's a free event, that they're going to get a good turnout. So, and how exciting, one of the students that was working on the project discovered that one of the women who worked in the factory was his great-grandmother. Is that what she said? Was that what Sarah said?
I think so, yeah.
Turned out, because I said, are any of these 9 women that you did the history on, are any of their families still here and living here? Because how great would that have been for them to be there? And she said, well, at first they didn't think there was any, and then one of the students working on it discovered that one of the women was his great-grandmother.
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't hear that story.
Yeah.
See, that's what history is all about. Exactly. Once you start delving into it, it's amazing the things that you can find out. Oh, that's a really nice story.
So as we talk about your office, the county clerk's office, it's interesting to me that people from all over constantly call to use the archives to find out their family history here and then come to visit here. Right? We discovered this when we were working in tourism, right? So can you talk a little bit about that? And
sure.
Come here to discover their family.
Absolutely. So both of you being involved in tourism probably knows this fact that genealogy and the research of genealogy is the second most popular hobby behind gardening in the United States. So isn't that amazing? So, but it makes sense with Ancestry.com and all the things and historic sites that people really come to, even at the person house. I mean, the amount of people that we get, I think every state but 2 states in the United States have been covered with people that come to visit at the person house, like 15 other countries. It's absolutely amazing. So people really want to go back in history and really follow their heritage. And our archives are rich in documents, and we have the census records, we have the naturalization records, we have marriage records. It just goes on and on. So it's really a great jumping off point for a lot of individuals, and especially with the pandemic, when people were home and had a lot of time on their hands. One of the things they could do is research online. That's why we're really happy to launch our new website this past year, which really, that database is amazing, because you can put in any keyword and it searches over all our databases, whether it's naturalization records, census records. So if you just wanted to research Rem Snyder and put any record that has Rem Snyder that's in our database online, will come up for you.
Wow.
So yeah, it's a really powerful search engine, and we're pleased. We get quite a bit of use on it. We quite a bit of hits for
So
people
you
using
go,
it.
which website? Your website, and log in the Ulster County Clerk's office, and then is there a search engine there, or is there a...
Yes, you actually go on the archives website.
Okay.
Yeah, so you go to the Ulster County Clerk website, and then there's like DMV, land records, and one of your choices is archives.
Okay.
And you go on the archives website to search it. Yeah.
I'm a little leery about putting my name in there.
That's
Rem Snyder shoots a 93 in the Ulster County Hurricane. No, that's not going to happen.
Oh my gosh, Rick, I have to say, just to deviate for a moment, yesterday I was over at the Daily Freeman building and looking at the records that they're trying to save right now, and the
microfilm and all that.
And the Rosie.
Right. Yeah. Rose Hogan, right?
Yeah. Was
She
the
was
librarian.
a librarian for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she has an amazing cataloging system there where she has cards.
Yeah.
So it's all inventoried, and everything is done by individual or by event, and it's in envelopes, and everything that pertain to, let's say, St. Joseph's School is in an envelope, and all the articles are in the envelope, and you can go to the little card catalog, get the number and the drawer, and pull it out. And the same thing with pictures and so forth. So of course, it's like a phenomenal history of our community over 50, 60 years. And I understand the Daily Freeman is actually celebrating the 150th anniversary this year of the paper, which I didn't realize that. That is amazing in itself. So anyway, I couldn't believe the sports pictures and the sports articles. And I ran into Mike Struble, and they're really trying to save as much as they can. Some things were thrown away by accident or just because they didn't realize the value of it. He was saying 30 years of the Kingston Classic, that whole box somehow.
Oh.
Yeah. So so we're trying to save as much as we can with the Freeman. So anyway, yeah, mentioning the Hurtigan made me think of that. And of course, you can say a little prayer for my husband, who is going to qualify tomorrow for the Hurtigan.
Yeah, I figured we wait a little later on that, but we can talk about the Hurtigan qualifier. Yeah, Dwayne Postupak, obviously Nita's husband and a former county champion, dating back to, I don't remember what year it was, but
1987.
87. Dwayne was, is he a member of Twaskill still?
He is.
Yeah, so he's got the home course advantage. No excuses, Dwayne. You should be able to blitz Twaskill. About 75, I think.
I'm going to tell him. I hope he's listening. If not, I'm going to tell him that.
Dwayne, there's 36 spots, and there's only 50 guys qualifying, so if you can't be 14 guys, there's something wrong.
Yeah, good point, Rick. That's a good point. There you go.
Dwayne's a great golfer. He shouldn't have any problem. But anyway, so yeah, I hope that they save those archives, because we used to be kind of fastidious. People think everything is on. You could go back to the records, go on the internet, and no,
it's just magic that it's going to be there, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, when I worked at the Freeman from the late 70s up to 1990, there was no. As Nina was saying, everything was clipped out of the newspaper. That's part of a reporter's job. And Rose Hogan, the librarian, she would put everything back there. And so, obviously now it's hard to go back to those dates and find things on the internet or microfilm.
It is. Yes, you're right, Rick.
There's one, I forget, the newspapers.com or something, where certain newspapers you can go back and they have those, they actually went to the microfilm and got them. But it's not every newspaper has that, so it's a shame. So hopefully those records will be saved. And you guys do a great job saving records.
Yeah, so we're going to try to do that. Yeah, absolutely. And another amazing thing, and I know you're probably familiar with this, but we were shown where the rolls of paper actually would go down the chute and into the basement where the paper was actually created, and they still have those conveyor belts in the building, and the pictures from back probably in the, I want to say 50s maybe, where they were all sitting at, 50, 60 people working to get the newspaper out. And like they're saying back in those days when stop the press really meant stop the press. Yeah. So it was really very, very interesting, and another aspect of our history that you really don't realize exists. So we're going to try to save it.
Yeah,
it's a shame what has happened in newspapers. I know the Daily Freeman, you go in there now and it's like a vast emptiness almost.
It is.
The Middletown Record, the same thing. I was over there about a year ago and I used to work at the Record, and I still do some freelance, and I would go into the main office there in Dolson Avenue, which they're selling to another company, and they're moving to, they're just going to have a storefront in some office complex. But, the days of these the Freeman's no longer printed. Obviously in the plant on Hurley Avenue. Same thing with the Middletown Records, not printed there. And, it's, you're right, Stop the Presses was, when I was a reporter there, when I worked in sports, Ira Fussfeld, who is the publisher emeritus now for the Freeman, he was my sports editor. That's where he started. And I can remember, I never saw Ira move so fast. When we found out one of his Sunday columns, they left his picture off the mast of on the column, and he literally ran from his office, or we have little cubicles there, to the composing room and stopped the presses and made sure that we got his photo. You could do that. That's the way the newspaper business used to operate.
There was an excitement to it, right? Yes, that doesn't exist now.
And those presses didn't stop on a dime, for sure.
No.
It took a while. When you said stop the press, like a lot came out before it really stopped, right?
Yeah.
I'm so fortunate that when I worked for the Ulster County Regional Chamber of Commerce, Ira used to speak to the leadership group, and so we'd get the full tour from beginning.
Oh, okay.
And you talked about the chutes where the papers literally went out the chute to the trucks, and it was fascinating to see the press and everything. So it's a shame.
Dark rooms, right, where they used to,
and it's really a shame
develop
that it's
the pictures
not that way anymore.
So sorry we digress. So
well, really though, it's part of history. So
it is, yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, you're gonna save the records. Hopefully, you're going to try.
We're going to try. So we'll see what'll happen there. It's exciting, and we're opening the Person House on June 17th.
Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yes, I brought my brochure that's going out to make sure I cover everything. So we're opening it on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays right now. Okay. So the hours are, let me see, on Thursdays and Fridays we're 9 a.m. to 4:30, and then on Saturdays we're 10 to 4. We're really excited to get the house back open because obviously it's been closed for over a year, and we're going to do all the social distancing that's required. Of course, if you're vaccinated, you do not need a mask, but we request that if you are not vaccinated, that you do wear a mask. We will make sure that we do not go beyond capacity, and the capacity in the Person House is not that great. It's only 40 people, but that's okay. We'll work with that, and we'll work through that. So can we talk a little bit about the exhibits that are going to be there for
when
the summer?
When is it opening? Is it open?
17th, June 17th.
Great.
Yep. Will be opening. So, of course, anybody who's been to the Person House knows that we have the Geisberg Van Embrock inventory, which is a permanent exhibit on the second floor of the county office building. And Geisberg was the first inhabitant of the house. And through a grant, we were able to establish this beautiful exhibit. And there's a lot of interactive activity for children. We also have his will with all of his inventory, and we have it in Dutch, and we have it in the English translation. It's an amazing exhibit, and we were really lucky through New York State to be able to do that. In addition, I know both of you know there was an archaeological dig at the house at one time. Joe Diamond did that dig. And we really have thousands of artifacts from that. And they date back to 1200 BC, which is like, I know, that's phenomenal in my mind. We think of the wampum belt and we think of the treaty, right, back to the early 1600s. There's a projectile point from 1200 BC. There's a bodkin. A bodkin was like, oh my God, a pin that a woman would wear in her hair back in the 1500s to hold her bun up. All of these artifacts will be on display at the house. So that alone, you could spend hours just looking at that. And then, of course, because our origins come from the Dutch, there is a whole exhibit on Dutch life through the records. So some of the Dutch records, what it was like living in the 1600s in the Stockade area in uptown Kingston. And my favorite one, of course, is when we started the Person House way back 10 years ago, we really didn't have many resources. We didn't have any money. I just basically went to our county executive at the time, Mike Hine, and said, Mike, the building's empty, nothing's being done. Can we try to make this a museum and a cultural gateway for Ulster County? And he's like, sure, Nina, go ahead, see what you can do. And so without any money to hire anyone to run the Person House or to staff it, we actually collaborated with the historical societies and organizations, and we had guest hosts, and we to this day still have guest hosts at the house every Saturday. So what we did this year is we recognized 10 years of those guest hosts in an exhibit. There were so many of them, from historic Huguenot to Ulster First Militia to Cornell Cooperative, 4-H youth programs, Woodstock Art School. So we're really excited to do that exhibit at the house. So you'll get an opportunity to see some of the guest hosts and what they brought to the house over the years. And then finally, there was a project called Earth Day Every Day. And it was through Cornell Cooperative Extension. And what they did was they used everyday objects and recycled materials. And they gave each artist a panel made of recycled pallet wood to decorate in their own style. When you place all the panels together, it creates a unified image, and it's called Earth Day Every Day, and won first place at the Ulster County Fair. So that will be, and also it received a ribbon at the New York State Fair for an outstanding exhibit. So that will be on exhibit in the house for the whole summer months. Yeah, so which is really exciting. So we're looking forward to a great season. And in the month of June, we have, everybody knows Stephen Blauwas, yes. Right?
How can you not?
Right? You're absolutely right.
They should, because talk about the history.
Yep.
Yes, he's amazing, right? He's really adopted Ulster County as his home. And he's, for those of you that don't know him, he's a filmmaker, he's an historian. So he is going to be there on June 19th from 10 to 4, and he's going to present. He's doing a new book, The Story of Historic Kingston, A Journey Through the Hudson Valley and Its Connections with New York City. And he's actually going to do a presentation at 11 o'clock. So all of you that are listening, June 19th at 11, he'll be doing, he'll have photographs on display. He'll be doing an in-depth study of what the book is going to show. It'll be an hour presentation, but I would suggest anyone who's interested in the history of the city of Kingston come to this presentation, because he is amazing. And anyone who has seen his presentations can attest to that.
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, Stephen Blauweis created the Lost Rondout.
Yes.
So, it all starts way back then, and he's created a lot of fantastic things since then. But yes, Stephen Blauweis.
Yeah.
And Karen Borelowitz.
Yes, Karen. We cannot forget Karen.
Karen.
Yes, who works very closely with him and collaborates with him. And then on June 26th from 10 to 4, we have the first Ulster Militia, which they're fantastic because they just tell you what a life was like back in uptown Kingston and the Stockade area in revolutionary times. They will actually set off their muskets. Yeah.
And what date will that be?
That will be June 26th, and they'll be there from 10 to 4. And now with the farmers market at the courthouse parking lot, I think we'll get a lot more activity at the house itself, which will be great. I was up there a few weeks ago, and I really think it's worked well in the parking lot. As opposed to being on the street. It's just more contained, and people seem to be more social in that environment also. So it's great. It's really nice, and we're hoping it'll help activity at the Person House also. So, we have a busy summer planned.
Great. It'd be nice to have all that activity in that very historic corner. Rough Draft is a great bar and bookstore and coffee, and then you got the Person House right across the street. Some people don't realize, I'm sure, that that used to be the offices for Cornell Cooperative for a number of years, right?
That's right. Yes.
Before they moved back to Westbrook Avenue, where they shared a building with Ulster County Tourism. I think that was before Fran started. And now they're at the Kings Mall, Cornell Cooperative. But a lot of history.
Kingston Plaza.
Kings Plaza, sorry.
I was like, did they move again?
Yeah, no, yeah. So many people are moving these days,
I know, to keep track of everyone, it's difficult. Yes, it is. And departments. But
I encourage people to go to those events, and if you're limiting them to 40, do you think, or people better get there early, particularly the
one for
Stephen, yes. Because we've had Ulster Tourism. We used to work with Stephen, help promote his book and his number of books, and he's a great resource, and Karen too, of course. So. So one of the things we want to talk about, I don't know, we're going to take a break in a few minutes, but it's interesting. Your name came up last night. I was covering, no, it's in a good way.
Okay.
I was doing a little freelance writing, as I want to do, and I was covering the town of Shawangum board meeting, and they mentioned they were very excited.
Oh, I know what he's going to say.
The mobile unit is going to be coming back. I think they said about a month or so. Talk about that. When you're resuming that in certain towns, right?
Yes. So, unfortunately,
John Volk wanted me to say, Nina's great, and make sure we get on the top of the pecking order, the supervisor.
I know. The towns have been calling, and it's because it is a great service to the people of the county. And, being a Kingston resident in the city of Kingston, you don't realize sometimes what it takes to come into Kingston. But if you're in Ellenville and you need to put a car on the road, you have to take a half a day from work because it takes you at least 45 minutes to an hour to get to Kingston. You have to at least assume you're going to be in the building for a half hour and then an hour back. So it's a half a day, and it's really a hardship. And with so many, with the appointment system now, with DMV being closed and pandemic, so many people have so many DMV needs. The bus will be going back out the beginning of July. Shout out to Jeff Berrien, who was our bus driver for over 25 years and retired. So therefore, we will have a new bus driver on the bus. We're really looking forward to getting back to the town. So Mondays we're in Marlborough, Tuesdays in Saugerties, Wednesdays Ellenville, Thursday, New Paltz, and then Fridays. First Friday of the month, we're up in Shandaken, and then the rest of the month, we're down in Shawangum and Moorkill. So, and our hours are 10 to 1 and 2 to 3:30. And we will definitely get, as soon as we get a definite date that we'll be back on the road, we'll put it out, press release, social media, we'll contact the towns. So everybody will have plenty of notice that the bus is going back on the road. And we were very blessed because 2 years ago, we have a brand new bus, and that was through a grant that we obtained. Ulster County has a unique situation because we're represented by 4 different senators, and most counties have 1, maybe 2 senators that represent their whole county, but we have 4. So at the time, it was Senator Bonasek, Senator Larkin, Senator Amador, and Senator Stewart, and we were able to get a grant to get a new bus. So and that bus was only out on the road for a very short period of time when the pandemic hit. So we're really excited to get it back out there and meeting the needs of the people of the county for their DMV transactions. Of course, and we could talk more about DMV after the break, but of course, we're still doing appointment only right now, even though the building is open to the public. We're going to transition slowly back into walk-ins, but the public like to do the appointment system. They like it. They come, they know their appointment's at 11:15, they know it's a 15-minute appointment, they're done by 11:30, and they're back, and they even know how much money to put in the meter, because that's always a struggle at times. So we are going to stay with the appointment system right now, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. I know we have to go to
Do you have to make an appointment for these mobile, for the bus or no?
No. We are going to do walk-ups for the bus. I think one of the struggles we had there with doing appointments is we don't have a kiosk. We don't have somebody there's nowhere to take a number when you get there. If you make an appointment, it was a little more difficult to manage. So we'll see how that goes. But we are planning on just doing walk-ups on the bus, which people were excited about that.
Okay, great. All right, we have time for a break now, and then we'll be back on the other side with Ulster County Clerk Nina Postyapak.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
There was this one time I went snorkeling in the Caribbean when I was a kid. It really just blew my mind. We saw the most beautiful corals. I remember thinking they were waving at us as they moved with the ocean. And then there were all these amazing fish. I'll never forget it. It completely changed the way I look at the ocean.
Most of us have a memory of being in nature we'll never forget. Let's protect the world's natural places so more memories can be made for generations to come. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
Hi, this is Jim Quigley, Supervisor of the Town of Ulster, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
We're back. This is Rick Remsnyder with Fran DiPetrillo, and we're joined by Ulster County Clerk Nina Postyapak. It's a little after 8:30 if anybody wants to call.
Yeah. Yeah.
331-9255. How's it feel to be answering questions instead of asking them on your normal Tuesday? Is it Tuesdays with you and Cam?
Terrific Tuesdays. Yeah. It feels, well, when I talk about the county clerk's office, I love it. So I love talking about it. I love letting people know what we have, what's available to them. So it's nice to be on the other end sometimes. It is. It really is.
Well, we have a caller, so go right ahead, caller.
Good morning. Nina, what you have at the Ulster County office is a bunch of fantastic people that do a great job. That's what you have.
You're right. That's so true. And without the staff, our office, I mean, we really have a fantastic staff. I mean, they deal with the public every single day, whether it's in the DMV or recording department. They're there for the public, and you're absolutely right. It's the staff that makes our office so true.
Yes. Nina, 2 quick questions for you. One, is there a shortage of inspection stickers out there?
Not that I'm aware of. Why do you think that, George?
Because my sister, who lives down in Highland, the station that she normally deals with for motor vehicle inspection, have been out of stickers for about a week or better.
Oh, so I'm not aware of that, but it's a good possibility because it seems like everything with the state now is just falling further and further behind. So it could be possible. I'll look into it though, but I'm not aware of it.
Okay, and the second question, the archives, is that open for somebody to come in and like my Litzen post about a year or so ago, just about the time this pandemic hit, was going to drop off 3 of our charter forms and stuff for you guys to hold in the archives.
Yes, it is. We're open once again to the public for research. She would just need to call 340-3415 and make an appointment to come and meet with the archivist, and they'll pull the records and whatever she needs to research. So yes, we are open to the public again.
No, you guys was going to hold the things for the post. We have the original charter, we have the original memberships and stuff, and you guys was going to put it in your vote or whatever you have there.
Oh, so you want to donate to the archives certain documents?
Right, that way, then in case anybody else ever needed them or wanted them, in case something happens to the present group of members, they would be able to get their hands on them.
Yes, so you would need to reach out. Yes, George, you could reach out to our office and we'll take a look at what you have and we'll go from there.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much. And like I said, Nina, I've dealt with your people on a number of occasions and I've never had a problem with them whatsoever. They're a fantastic group. But then again, too, they have a fantastic person.
Oh, thank you. But we do have a great staff, fantastic staff. Thank you so much.
And you guys have a great day. Have a terrific weekend. Even though it's going to be a little bit warm, you don't have to shovel heat.
There you go.
Have a good day. And Rick, enjoy the golf course. Greenacre does a great job out there. And that was a terrific interview you had with Brian last week.
Well, thanks, George.
So keep up the good work and have a great day, everybody.
I'll be there at 9:15.
Unfortunately, I got to go to a funeral this morning, but for a veteran. But I usually hit there about the same time myself, so enjoy it.
All right, thank you. I want to echo what George said about the staff working for years with Nina and Alice Lawless and Lori Hancock. And what's Joel's last name?
Shealy.
Joel Shealy. When we were people are probably tired of hearing stories, but we got a half hour, right?
We do.
When we moved from about 10 years ago, or maybe a little less, we moved from 10 Westbrook. We were there for the tourism, and we're moving down to 20 Broadway and or the current, soon to be vacated, unfortunately, visitor center at Lower Broadway. They'll be closing that in the next couple of weeks and moving the tourism operation up to the Glass Menagerie. But anyway, which I think is a mistake. But so when we were moving out of 20 Westbrook,
yes,
we had records. I can't tell you how many records we had from all the former tourism directors, going back to Peter Carafano and
oh my God, Joe Munster.
Joe Munster. And we had, Fran and Nina knows, we had these huge, in the basement of Westbrook Avenue, these huge filing cabinets in a room. And it was expansive. So we had not only stuff from tourism, but for years the office was public information and
Right,
tourism.
that's right, Rick.
So we had
Yes.
all these documents. We had all these great photos. Joe Munster, who was the tourism director / public information officer, was a world-class photographer. And he had, going back to, I remember photos of Pete Savago and, going back at, it doesn't sound like a long time ago, but it was back to, 60s.
Oh, yes.
50s, 60s.
60
So I
years
said
ago.
to, when our former county executive, Mike Hine, decided it was a great idea to go down to the 20 Broadway to relocate, I said, what am I going to do with all this stuff? We don't have any storage. He says, call Nina Postyapak. So I called Nina, and I got to tell you, she had Lori Hancock and Joel Shealy come over, spend a number of days going through all the photos, all the documents, matching funds, what we could keep, what was expired and we could get rid of. And I'll always be eternally thankful because we saved a lot of very important documents and photos, and they're over at the Hall of Records now,
Yes.
right? What
Correct.
a great job.
Correct. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Rick. Since we're going down memory lane a little bit, I remember my first experience working with Rick and his staff, and it was for the Quadricentennial. We were celebrating the Quadricentennial here in Ulster County, and we were giving away tulips. Remember the tulip
Yes.
bulbs? Dave Donaldson was really instrumental in doing that. We went down the Hudson River Maritime Museum, and we distributed tulip bulbs to anyone and everyone.
A dozen or 2 dozen, anybody that wanted tulip bulbs.
Yeah, and then that spring when we were doing the actual celebration, all the tulips bloomed, and then we had, and I'll never forget this as long as I live, and I have a picture of it in my office. Remember River Day down on the
Yes,
Strand?
yeah.
There were thousands, when I say thousands of people, there were thousands of people down on the Strand celebrating the Quadricentennial, and the boats were coming in the creek and docking at the Hudson River Maritime Museum. It was an amazing, absolutely amazing event. And that's the first time we collaborated on something of that magnitude. And then we went on to do the George Clinton when we did his celebration and so forth. So, and I cannot say enough what Rick and Fran have done for tourism in Ulster County, where it was, unfortunately or fortunately, with 42 years of experience with the county, I've seen tourism not be a priority in the county, and I've seen when it's become a priority and what it's done. And it's put us on the map. And people from Brooklyn and New York City and everywhere else don't come here and move and live and visit because they just happen to Google Kingston, New York. It's because we make them aware of all the wonderful things we have here, the beauty of the county, the hiking, the history, the skiing, you name it, we have it, the restaurants, first-class restaurants. So I have to say to both of you, what you did to put Ulster County on the map is just absolutely amazing. And what people don't realize, the county is really very diverse. You go down to Marlborough and you might be looking to go to a winery down there.
Sure.
You go up to Saugerties and you might be going to Hits for the horse show. I mean, we're such a diverse county. We have so much to offer. And to get that information out to, the world, basically, is not an easy job. So you've done and we see it, and we see we are reaping the benefits of that now and the rewards. So thank you, and I really enjoyed all the years of working together with you, because when you promote history, you're promoting tourism also, and a lot of it went hand in hand.
Huge part, yeah.
Yes.
And how fortunate, like you were saying, there's 4 senators in our county. Well, the county is huge, and it's part of the Catskill region and the Hudson Valley region, which a lot of people forget or don't realize. And yeah, with so much to offer. So that was very nice, Nina.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
thank you, Nina. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And I have to tell you that the Quadricentennial, first of all, when we were giving away the tulips, I have a picture, too, of Dave Donaldson. They came in these huge... it was just a huge pile of these bulbs.
Yes.
And we're taking them and putting in the loading ramp. And people were coming up, I remember, on a Friday night, and I think we did it over a 3-day weekend.
Yes.
And I remember, and this is no exaggeration, I had little old ladies coming up to me almost with tears in their eyes when we would give them a dozen bulbs, and they would say, "This is the nicest thing the county has ever done for me."
Yes,
which
you're
was
right. It's
really
so
nice
true.
to hear, and those tulips regenerate every year. And the story of the ships coming down to the Rondout. I was on one of those boats coming in.
Yes,
and
that's right.
The weather was a little sketchy at the beginning, and I was on one of the lead boats with the tourism director, retired Mary Kay Verba from Dutchess, and we went by Rhine Cliff, and there was a pretty big crowd at Rhine Cliff, and then the next stop was Kingston, and I was so concerned that we wouldn't have a big turnout because the weather was a little, it was rainy. When we made that turn and I saw people lined up, it was unbelievable.
10 deep. 15 deep.
I was so proud of Ulster County.
Thanks.
That was one of the nicest things, that the turnout and people genuinely happy to see the ships. I remember Tara O'Sullivan was the chairman, and she said, "Oh, wow, that's a great turnout for Ulster County." So I was really happy about that. But so thanks for bringing that up. And it's always been great working with Nina and her staff. And, history, you're right, history is such a big part. Cultural heritage, history, and things of that nature is a big part of tourism. And, we did some great work, and I think my successor, Lisa Berger, she'll continue to keep things going. I saw an article the other day that was on her LinkedIn page. It was about 10 days ago in the New York Times, a big story about Saugerties.
Yes, I saw that.
Did you see that?
I did.
That was a great, lengthy story talking about, I don't want to call it a renaissance, but how things have really picked up, and Saugerties, it's gotten a lot of accolades. It's one of the coolest small towns in the state now, and quoted a lot of local people. I was glad to see Marjorie Block from Saugerties Tourism and a lot of other people. And of course, they're talking about hits and everything. The one thing I didn't understand why they didn't mention Tom Strazzeri.
Yes.
Because Tom was like
instrumental in growing that community.
But other than that, I'm just picking a little something, but it was a tremendous article about how things have really been on the upsurge in Saugerties, for instance.
Yeah, no. And I'm glad you brought up Lisa because Lisa worked with you over the years, and so it's nice to see her back in the tourism position. And I know she has the same
doing
love,
amazing things.
Yeah,
Yes.
and the same love that both of you have had, and the same dedication and belief in tourism in Ulster County. So that's so important in a director, and so I'm so happy to see Lisa in that position. So as we move forward, right, the building is now open, so the public is back into the county, and it's nice for us, being a public office. It's very difficult to run your office when the public's not allowed in. It's like, how do you do that? And we had a joke in the office, and speaking about how great our staff is, we actually had like drive-bys where people would call, and someone from our staff would go outside, and if they had a deed to drop off or they needed something notarized, because we have notaries on staff free of charge, and you can't imagine the amount of people that need a notary. So now you can come back in the building, you can have your documents notarized, and it doesn't mean you don't necessarily have to have a document that's going to be filed in our office. We'll notarize anything that you need done. So no more drive-bys and drive-ups. It's back into the building, and we're really pleased about that. And
do you have a display on the first floor?
We have on the second floor. Yeah, that's okay. Of the archival gallery. I'm so glad you asked that. It's the history of medicine in Ulster County. And really, we did it because of the pandemic, and it showed, the beginnings when there was barber surgeons to the time where the first medical college didn't start till the late 1800s, believe it or not. And then then we go on the timeline to when Benedictine Hospital and Kingston Hospital were built to present day. So it's really, and it is a tribute to all the first responders, our medical and healthcare staff, and everyone who this year saved a lot of lives and were there for a lot of people who were alone in time of need. So we're really pleased about that. So you can come up now to the second floor and see that exhibit. And then, of course, we received a grant, and on the other wall is our permanent exhibit, which highlights our collections that we feel are our most important collections, but like the Dutch records, our naturalization records, the wampum belt, the treaty, and it's a permanent exhibit. And that's another great opportunity just to stand there and read some of the documents and see what's in our archives. And so thank you for mentioning that, Fran. And that's on the second floor of the county building. So we've been busy. We're back to passports now. You can come in and do your passport.
People can go somewhere.
Right. People can start to travel again. Of course, we do the picture and everything one stop. We ask that you make an appointment just because many times we get a whole family. And, you get 5 or 6 people at the recording counter at once. So if you're interested in getting a passport, just call 845-340-3270. Make an appointment, 9:30 to 11:30, and then 2 to 4:30, and you can have your passport application processed. So we're glad to do that. We're trying to bring the naturalization ceremonies back because obviously we had to step back from that during the pandemic, and we're working with the courts because the courts protocols and the county protocols are just a little bit different. So we're trying to meet both of those, and we're hoping in July to have a naturalization ceremony. Of course, it won't have, there will not be any VFW, color guard, singing. The individuals that are being sworn in will not be able to bring their family members, but at least they can be sworn in here in Kingston. They don't have to go up to Albany, and it's the beginnings of bringing the ceremonies back to Ulster County. So we're hoping to do that if we can find available space in July. So it's been busy in our office. It's a busy time, and it's been a lot of changes for us and managing things. But our most important goals right now is to keep the public safe and keep our employees safe. And we're really trying to do that. And we're still trying to maintain social distancing. And again, if you come into the county office building, please wear a mask if you're not vaccinated. If you are vaccinated, you can't come in without a mask. We have somebody at the door just monitoring things to make sure those that are coming in without a mask are vaccinated. And people are really good. And most people, when they're in a public area, don't mind wearing their mask. We're so used to it now, right?
Right. Yeah. Rick and I were talking about that earlier. Bigger public places, I'm fine wearing my mask. If I don't catch a cold from somebody, I'm good. You know, if the mask saves me from that, I mean, how many people really got the flu last year?
That's very true, though. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
So I'm good with it.
You're absolutely
I'm good with the mask, even though I'm vaccinated. How many staff, you were talking about, it's busy times. How many staff do you actually have?
We have, including part-time staff, about 63 employees. Wow. Yeah, so we're a busy office. We really are. I was just thinking, I know we're getting towards 9 o'clock hour, but just a couple things about DMV. Mm-hmm. So the governor has extended driver's licenses through June 16th right now. So he just put out another executive order. So if you have a driver's license that is expired, you're still able to drive without being ticketed through June 16th. And we'll see if that gets extended again. Of course, registrations have to be renewed. So if you have an expired registration and you get stopped, you will be ticketed for that. So be sure that you, and the state is not doing their best in getting those renewals out. So really check your sticker on your window because a lot of people have not received their renewals. And I know that's how we're all reminded about doing that. And so you might have an expired registration and not even realize it.
Yeah, I know. We sit behind the windshield every day, pretty much most of us, and yet you don't always look at those stickers in the window.
You don't. It's the truth.
Check the date.
It's absolutely the truth.
And you want people to actually instead of doing it by mail, don't you want them to actually to come in because to keep that money in Ulster County, right?
Yes, we asked you can mail it in or put it now. I'm glad you brought that up, Rick, because we have the drop box in the back of the building,
Right.
and you can drop in the front of the building between normal business hours. We have an employee out there for anything that does not require an in-person transaction.
Good.
So that would be your renewals of your registration. Just write out your check, put your renewal in the drop box. If you didn't receive the renewal, you can fill out the form and a credit card authorization form, put it in the drop box. You need to surrender plates. Put it in the drop box. We'll mail you your receipt. A duplicate title you can drop. So things of those nature that do not require you to come in. Driver's licenses, you must come in. Though I will say this, the eye test requirement has been waived for 1 year. So if you want, you can mail in your driver's license renewal if you're getting a standard driver's license, and you have up to 1 year to get the eye test done at approved DMV site, Hannaford, Nico's, there's quite a few of them. And then that will be mailed directly or electronically sent to DMV. So you can do your license by mail. A lot of people took advantage of that during the pandemic when they didn't want to come into the building.
Mm-hmm.
So they mailed it in.
And two things. A quick question, because you said surrendering plates. So you have to keep the insurance on your vehicle until you surrender the plates, correct?
Correct.
And so if you use the drop-off to surrender your plates, how, like...
Yeah. Normally, we do the transaction within 24 to 48 hours. So, and then
you'd get
a receipt back in the mail.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
And
you
then
just keep it until your receipt comes. You keep the insurance until your receipt comes, but you can just go drop your plates off.
Yes.
Okay, and then you'll get a receipt. Okay, just kind of
And most
wondered.
insurance companies should not, that's where people end up with problems, should not cancel your insurance unless you show that you've surrendered those plates, because that's where people end up with insurance lapses.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Rick was leading into this. So if we do these transactions in the county, I've tried to explain this to people, and I don't do a very good job of it, of how the money stays in the county.
Oh, sure. So every transaction we do in DMV, we have a retention fee for that. It's 12.7%. When you mail those renewals up to Albany, we do not get any money for those whatsoever. If you renew online, we don't get any of that money either, unless there's a threshold, there's a formula, and once the county reaches that threshold on the internet, then we do get a percentage of all of the transactions. So that's why we encourage people to mail it in or come into the office or put it into the drop box. Just to give you an idea, we used to do all mail-in renewals for Ulster County. So back in the day when the state sent your renewal to you, the return address, the address to send it to was 244 Fair Street, Kingston. So we would do all those very simple transactions. It was barcoded. You would scan it, renew your registration. That brought in about $350,000 to $400,000 a year. So when they pulled that from us, we lost all of that revenue, and they pulled it because it was an easy transaction, and the state obviously it was a money grab, obviously. But so that's why we encourage people, because there's a tremendous amount of money that stays here in the county.
I want to keep. I'm always thinking, like, it drilled in my head from
Keep it in
Ward
the
Todd. Ward Todd, buy local. Just-
Yes, Ward.
That's an example of buy local.
That's it,
Yes.
exactly.
Do the transaction here, the money stays here. Yeah.
People don't realize, like last year in the county clerk's office, $27 million went through the clerk's office. So we collect quite a bit of money.
a lot.
Yeah, $27 million. Of that $27 million, we probably retain about $2.7 million. All the rest we distribute to state agencies or to the towns, and the city of Kingston get all the mortgage tax, the basic mortgage tax that's distributed twice a year to them. So most of that money gets distributed to many other agencies. But the county, we do bring into the county about $2.7 million a year. So the responsibility is great. And again, going back to the staff, they do a phenomenal job. Obviously, we're audited by the state on many different levels financially. And so, we're the steward of the taxpayer's dollar, and we take that very seriously, as you have in the past being county employees, and as you still are a county employee, Fran. Yeah, so we know the responsibility that goes with that. So, it's a busy office.
I got to say, going to when it was busy, I can always see, what a hands-on boss Nina is, because I can't tell you how many times there'd be a line down there, and Nina would be down helping. And what's your deputy's name?
Oh, Nancy?
Nancy?
Yes.
She'd be down there. So, which was nice to see. You could have hid in
thank
your
you,
office,
Rick.
but, obviously that's not how you operate.
Yeah, hide upstairs. Let the crowd say.
Right.
No, yeah.
Can't
But
do that.
it's important to work with the staff, right? We all know that in the positions that we've been in, because you can't understand the problems they're facing or the concerns that are going on unless you're part of it and you're down there and you're doing it. So, and all of our deputies are really hands-on. Alice can go and work the recording counter on any given day if need be. Lori has put up exhibits, taken down exhibits, and of course Nancy you can find her on a DMV window every single day of the week. Yeah. So it's important to be part of the staff and work with the staff. And very blessed. Very blessed. Thank you.
Well, we only got about a minute, so why don't you mention those dates again at the Person House, the events, Nina, so people can get down there. And Fran is leaving us. Have a good weekend,
Thank
Fran.
you so much.
Oh, yes. You too.
I need to report to work.
Yes, I know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Take
All
care.
right, take care, Fran. You too. Thank you. So June 17th, we open the Person House. Thursdays and Fridays, we're open 9 to 4:30, and Saturdays 10 to 4. Come visit us on June 19th when Steve Flauwas presents his new book. He'll do at 11 o'clock a presentation with PowerPoint, which will be very interesting. And then on June 26th, the first Ulster Militia will be there from 10 to 4. And they do a phenomenal job of reenacting revolutionary times here in the Stockade area. And of course, if you need anything from our office, 845-340-3040 is directly to my office. DMV is 340-3700, and County Clerk is 340-3288. And of course, you can always visit our website, Google Ulster County Clerk, and we'll come right up. And we have a Facebook page, also Ulster County Clerk, so you can visit that, and we try to keep everybody updated. And we'll work on Twitter. How about that, Rick?
Whatever you want, Instagram, whatever.
There you go.
Well, thanks, Nina. I knew that hour would fly with you. It's great seeing you, and have a great weekend. And good luck to Dwayne tomorrow in the qualifier.
Thank you so much, Rick.
And I guess that's it. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay cool because it's going to get a little hot out there, right, Lawrence?
It is. It's going to be nice today. It's only going to be 77, but tomorrow, Sunday and Monday is all going to be in the upper 90s. So
Ooh.
Amazing.
Go swimming.
Swimming. There you go.
That's a good idea.
Have a good
Thank
weekend,
you, Lawrence.
everyone.
Thank you, Rick.